Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're taking a look at the HG Gundam Build Divers GBN-Guard Frame, and it is a pretty cool kit. Very simple, basically like the Build Divers version of the HG Gym that we saw from Gundam Build Fighters HG line. I gotta say, I think I like the Gym more. Just its overall styling was, I think, more interesting, more cool. This one, I'm not really quite as into it though. Still, it is pretty cool. I think just a few little parts changed here and there, and it's got some really cool design aspects to it. I really like the bar parts there for the knees and for the feet. Maybe not everyone is going to like those particular style of details, especially on the feet. Those are pretty unique feet for this one, but I like how utilitarian they look. They're pretty cool looking in my opinion. So overall, it's a pretty simple, fun build. It goes together very quickly. If you guys haven't seen, again, I will remind you that I did a speed build-off building this kit against my good friend here in Korea, Alex. So I'll put a link to that video down below if you want to watch that speed build-off between Alex and I. I put this kit together in, it was about 23 minutes or something like that. That was just only clipping out. I didn't clean up any of the nubs or anything at all. So then I actually had to go back in later and clean up the nubs a little bit more for this review. But you guys will probably still be able to see some nub marks that aren't cleaned up really super well. I just kind of really quickly cleaned them up a little bit. So not quite as pristine as I usually like to have them, at least just for the sake of reviews. But anyway, you guys get the idea. As always, a huge thank you to SA Gundam Store for sponsoring the review, guys. Check the link to their site down below and use that coupon code there to save 10%. Let's get on and talk about what all you're going to get included with this kit. Alright, so what all do we get in terms of accessories and everything for this kit? Well, you get the hands here, which are just regular holding hands, and that's it. No other different hand options for this, unfortunately. But those hands are kind of nice in a way. We'll talk about that more in a moment. You get an alternative head as well, aside from this head here, which is kind of round, a little bit almost Daft Punk looking. You get this one here, which is a little bit more utilitarian, a little bit more kind of robotic looking. I don't know, like old school robot looking, kind of. So you have those options, and then not only do you have those two options, but then you have a little bit expanded options by having these dark clear parts for going in those. Obviously, that'd be for the other head, but you can choose between like a clear black or clear blue for those, so that's nice to have some different options for that. So basically in total you have 4 different head options. All in all, you have a couple of stickers here. 1 goes on this head and 2 go on the other head. I haven't used these, I haven't put them on there, but again, a lot of just leftover space there of just nice metallic blue stickers. So if you need camera stickers or something for a different kit, it's nice to just be able to cut your own stickers out of that. So that is definitely nice to have on hand. You can use that if you feel so inclined. And then the last thing we have here is his weapons. We've got 2 guns here. They're exactly the same. So I'll just show you the one here. This is in the long form, and you can just remove this part there. And then you have the just short form. This is basically akin to the regular gym spray gun, basically just very simple, very simple with double barrel, little beam gun there. And then with the extra attachment on it, then it turns it into a little bit more of a longer rifle with just a single barrel there. So kind of cool options, especially if you're going to have multiples of this kit. You can have ones with different heads and then have ones with a little bit different armaments for it. But that is pretty much it for all the accessories. You do have a handful of extra leftover parts. And the only really thing that I thought was kind of noteworthy here is this backpack. This is the full backpack of the HG Leopard Da Vinci kit. And it's pretty cool. You have some different hard points on here. If you remove the panel there on the side, you have an upper and a lower hard point there. So it's pretty nice. You can't use it with this kit, unfortunately, as this kit has the 2-peg backpack connection. And this one is for the single peg, but if you have a different kit that has this just single peg there, or you can make an adapter, or you can just customize that. It's not very hard to just change the pegs there. Just you clip off a little bit of runner and just glue that on there if you wanted to use this with whatever kit you need. So that's kind of noteworthy. But otherwise, that is it for everything that you get included with this kit. So for the list price of 1,600 yen, I feel like that's a little bit high for this. If I remember correctly, that was the same price as the Gym. Maybe the Gym was 1,400 yen, 1,600 yen. I think maybe is right though. So I don't know with that kit. I don't know if I remember that I felt the same with that one, but this one I feel like that list price is probably a little bit high, considering that you can get other kits like the Barbatos or something for like 1,000 yen. I don't know why this one costs 600 yen more. That is a little bit odd to me. But let's talk about the articulation, because this is very nicely articulated. So the head will go up to there. That'd be very nice for some flying in space poses like that. Down to there, all very good. The shoulder is just on a ball joint, but like with the Jim, you have this gimmick where the whole side of the torso will expand out like that for giving you a little bit further range of movement there across the front of the body. And then the shoulder will move up pretty far to there, because this is that swinging polycap ball joint there, but it swings upward instead of forward because we have this gimmick here, so you don't really need that forward. So that will move up, and then you're able to bring the arm up entirely to about there, which is not bad. A little bit higher maybe would have been cool, but still it's better than most, so it's not bad at all. And then here in the arm, it's just going to work very normally. We just have rotation there at the top, double joint in the elbow for a nice full bend there, and then the wrist is on a ball joint. But then also you have a hinge in the wrist as well, so you can actually hinge that forward and back as well. So that's kind of nice. The only problem is though that this kit doesn't come with like any beam saber or something like that. A hinge there in the wrist is often really convenient if you're using like a sword or a knife or beam saber or something, whatever that is cool like for posing. Whereas you're not gonna get like more, you're not gonna do any more like extreme angles or something like that of the wrist there while it's holding a gun. I feel. So it is kind of a shame that we didn't get any sort of beam saber or something included with this kit. I think that would have been nice. It's just something small to throw in there as well. The side skirts will obviously not move up and down because they're pretty much just fixed in there. They're only going to be able to move a little bit there within that space. No front skirts or back skirts to speak of, so we can just skip over that. But I will just take a moment to note about the hard points here on the back skirt, back of the arm, and the side of the side skirts there. You also have some here on the backpack. If you remove these panels here on the side, you can pop that off, and you got a hard point there on the side of the backpack, on the left and the right, and also here in the center. You can pop this off, and you've got a hard point there as well for plugging on any accessories or other option parts or anything. Down in the hip section, that will rock side to side like that. Rotation there at the top of the hip can bring the leg up to about there before it's going to be obstructed here by this kind of waist skirt there. It's not kind of skirt, kind of just waist section there. Then if you put it out to the side a little bit, you can bring the leg up a little bit higher. Get a nice full bend here in the knee as well. At the ankle, you can move that forward to there, back all the way back to there. That's pretty nice. And then this bit here on the front of the foot will also move up and down like that. So that's pretty cool. Up underneath the feet, you have a nice full detail there as well. Some nice detail, I must say, instead of any hollow gaps or anything. So that's pretty nice. I forgot we've kind of skipped over the torso section here. So this does have a little bit of an ab crunch, not really all that much. You can see just a little bit there forward and back. Not too bad. Side to side, however, though, is not going to be anything there, but you do, of course, just have some simple rotation there at the center. And that is going to cover the articulation. And there's really not a whole lot much more else to say about this kit. It's pretty simple, and that's it's meant to be simple. That's kind of the whole point of it, right? And I think the manual really stresses a lot that like it's made for customization, and that was like kind of its point in the series as well, as that it's made for customization apparently, I guess. And so yeah, all the hard points on there will make it easier if for just beginners to just be able to just basically plug and play different accessories and things like that, different parts sets. And so that's cool. That's very simple anyway. But I don't know. I think like with a design like this, that's just kind of very simple and unique. There's also merit in just not, I think, slapping guns or like everything onto it and just like keeping it as it is. It's cool to just like build a robot or build a Gundam or whatever, a mobile suit that's just really simple and plain like this as well. I think that's also pretty cool. So I like this just as it is without, slapping a bunch of stuff onto it. But if that is your particular taste, if that's to your taste, it is very easy to just plug stuff onto this for some very easy customization. That said, whether you think that this kit needs some more stuff strapped onto it or not, I think we can all pretty much agree that it really would have been nice to get maybe something else in the form of some other weapon or accessory for this. Maybe just a small simple shield, or again, like I mentioned before, just a little beam saber, just a single beam saber and a beam saber effect bar for that. Just something more than just the guns. The guns are fine, and it's nice that you have the option of whether you want to have like the short form or the long form of them. And so that's pretty cool, but I think it really would have been pretty simple to just throw a couple more parts there onto the runner for a beam saber handle and a shield. That said, of course, if you have leftover beam sabers and shield from other kits, of course you can use them with this relatively simply. That really shouldn't be too much of a problem, I think. But overall, the kit itself is very solid. The articulation is fantastic. It's just a really nice, simple kit for just doing a lot of really fun posing and everything with that. As far as the actual build quality and everything goes together really nicely, and the construction is very simple. Seam lines, it's got doesn't really have much in the way of seam lines. The only seam lines that it has are kind of hidden as panel lines. Now, one thing I was worried about with this kit is if it would have the same issue in the forearm as with the Jim. Now, a lot of people experience this with the polycap that fits inside the Jim's forearm for plugging in the hand into the forearm there. It's kind of hard to get those parts to close up completely properly because of that polycap, and I was assuming this would probably have the same issue, and it kind of does. It doesn't seem to be as bad, but it does also seem to have that issue a little bit in that the forearm doesn't want to close together perfectly tightly, and it's because of that polycap in there. So that is just an issue that I hope if they make any other further kind of iterations kind of similar to this in the future, that they'll be able to sort that issue out. But for this one, it's not that bad. Just kind of trim the polycap if you're really worried about that. Just shave down the polycap a little bit, as much as you need until that fits in there and everything lines up together, everything fits properly. But other than that, yeah, there's a couple seam lines here and there, but really nothing too much that I think you're really going to have to worry too much about. So especially if you're looking for a really simple kit as like an intro to painting HGs as well, then this would probably be a good one to check out for that as well. So I think that's just about going to do it for the review, guys. If you do have any other further questions or comments, of course, feel free to leave those down below, and I'll answer those for you the best I can. And again, huge thank you to USA Gundam Store for sponsoring the review, guys. Check the link to their site in the description again as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Hey! Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can head over to USA Gundam Store. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10. Save yourself 10%. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.